Everybody loves superheroes, and people seem to forget that it's been that way for a long time. In the 70s, they put an awful looking, obviously 30-year-old Spider-Man on primetime television just because fans demanded it, and even the modern superhero blockbuster began in 1978 with Richard Donner's classic Superman the Movie. Superheroes have been big money for decades now. And as we pointed out before, and will probably do so again, big money equals big ripoffs and big flagrant lookalikes. So today, we're going over 8 bootlegged versions of superheroes that time tried to forget. We're not gonna let it. Indian Superman. The Indian production of Superman, not to be confused with the South Indian production of Superman, was released in 1987 and starred. Come on, let's face it, you've never heard of anybody involved in this movie, even if you're from India. It was directed by a guy and starred some actors. And according to its plot summary, it actually stays pretty close to the Superman origin story. There's a baby from space and is adopted by an elderly couple and grows up to be a reporter moonlighting as Superman, which is the only word said by anybody in this film that we can understand, but they helpfully say it a lot. Then there's like an hour and a half of stuff happening with barely any Superman in it, where we find out, again through its plot summary, that this film is totally incomprehensible, that the Lana Lang equivalent has become a supervillain of some kind, because why not? Maybe Lex Luthor translates to shit sandwich in Hindi. Anyways, Indy Soups eventually faces off against some flunkies with his awesome powers, saves a busload of kids off a cardboard bridge, and stops a raging flood by pushing over a big rock. It's all very Superman, leading to a decent ripoff of the 1978 film's Earth-reversing finale, followed by, surprisingly, a no-cast dance number. South Indian Superman. You thought we were kidding about South Indian Superman. Well, you should have known better. This version, directed by another guy and starring some other actors, was released in 1980, the same year as Donner's Superman 2, and you can tell just by looking at the H on this guy's chest that that's the least of what they got wrong. The movie opens up with our young hero witnessing the murder of his parents by cowboys. Okay. And praying to some weird monkey cat god who grants him awesome magical powers. And you might recognize that this has absolutely nothing to do with Superman's origin story. Anyways, the boy grows up to seek revenge, becoming Superman, and taking on murderous cowboys with his regular chubby physique and really ordinary looking fighting skills. And the rest of the plot is just really tough to decipher. But there's dancing, just a ton of dancing. Incidentally, it's over 2 hours long, almost as long as the real Superman movie. Superman Don Yor, or Turkish Superman. Okay, just one more Superman, because Superman Don Yor, also known as Turkish Superman, is too good to pass up. In the 70s and 80s, the Turkish film industry was prone to stealing shit from Hollywood in more ways than one, as we talked about before in our award-winning analysis of Turkish Star Wars. This led to this weird phenomenon of films with below-average production values, yet they still had big scores and professional special effects, because they were ripped directly from Hollywood and whatever blockbuster they could get their hands on. For example, the opening of this film is clearly shot in a kid's bedroom, with a Christmas tree ornament standing in for Krypton. Yet, it features the same awesome John Williams score as the original. As the film was released in 1979, they apparently didn't have time to insert any awesome special effects shots or flying sequences. So Superman, for the most part, lurches around like a complete idiot stiff-arming people. It turns out though that he does have a hidden weakness. Chairs. I mean, this one guy gets the better of him by hitting with a chair, but okay. The whole thing is pretty ridiculous, but there is that Williams score, blaring away for pretty much every minute of the runtime. And strangely, the film's title translates roughly to Superman Returns, which may have been a bad omen. La Mujer Murciélago, or the Mexican Batwoman. 1968's The Batwoman is complete lunacy. It's also known as the Mexican Batwoman, and it seems to descend from the Russ Meyer School of Filmmaking. So this Batwoman has a crime-fighting costume that is literally a super tiny bikini with a cape and a bat mask. The film opens up with 3 stuffy men in suits, talking about some special operative they need to hire. Then there's some crackling dialogue.
¿Quién es esa mujer? ¿No sabes quién es? No. Es difícil describirla con palabras.
He then goes on to do that exactly at length. And she's the master of every sport. A master wrestler, because Mexico, has super strength just because, and is also wonderful and rich with an ample chest. Also, unlike Batman, she loves guns, and will just shoot the shit out of some people. She's enlisted when a bunch of professional wrestlers are murdered. Again, in case you don't know, Mexico really loves wrestling, and ends up thwarting a mad scientist who is trying to create fish people. Because why go through all this trouble if you're not going to plunge into sheer madness? Maybe there are some environmental themes, maybe there aren't. Maybe everybody involved is just on drugs, who knows? Alias Batman and Robin, or Filipino Batman and Robin. The 1989 Filipino film Alias Batman and Robin was a spoof of the 1966 TV series starring Adam West. Astute viewers probably caught more than one thing off about that statement. For one, 1989 was also the year that Tim Burton's Batman changed the whole genre by going relatively dark and ignoring the character's campy 60s roots. Also, the then 23-year-old series just seems like a weird thing to cash in on at the time. For another, the series itself was pretty much a send-up of the superhero genre, and spoofing a send-up is redundantly redundant. The film lags on for an hour and a half, setting up its wacky rogues gallery before introducing its heroes with a really great Beach Boys inspired theme song, apparently the only other thing the filmmakers could think of having to do with the 60s. The two stumble through the nonsense plots, fighting wackily enough to make the 60s series look like Daredevil, serving refreshments to guests, and skillfully dodging the lawsuit that Warner Bros. Threatened the second they heard about this mess. The film received a release in the Philippines in 1991, after working out a few legal issues, which translates to waiting for Warner Bros. To forget all about it. Spider-Man, or Japanese Spider-Man. Spider-Man the movie, also known by its Japanese title Spider-Man, is actually a spin-off of a television series. The costume looks pretty close to, maybe even a little better than, the one featured in the American TV series. But don't let that fool you. The movie takes place between episodes 10 and 11 of the series. That is to say that, costume aside, this has fuck all to do with Spider-Man. The hero is Takuya Yamashiro, which is of course Japanese for Peter Parker. A motorcycle racer who gets his powers from a spidery alien that he finds inside a crash-landed UFO. Okay. Professor Monster and his Iron Cross army hate the spider aliens, and they kill Spider-Man's father, and also there are mechs.
Change the apart.
This actually happened. The bracelet that Spider Alien gives Spider-Man, which gives him control of the alien ship, also transforms into a giant mech named Leopardon. Why not Spider-Don, you might ask? Did you really expect any rhyme or reason to any of this? The film, like the TV show, is full-on crazy. But the series ran for 41 episodes, which is a hell of a lot better than its American counterpart. You win again, Japan. Italian Spider-Man. Speaking of Spidey, we must take a brief detour to highlight Italian Spider-Man, a 2007 Australian parody that completely nails the shoddy look and haphazard tone of films like the ones that make on this list. Italian Spider-Man is a fat, stringy-haired guy with what might look like a spider crudely drawn on his shirt. He smokes cigarettes, rides motorcycles, and is just as likely to punch a beautiful victim in the face as a would-be crook. As you can imagine, the trailer made the internet freak out, and the feature film, broken into 10 episodes, was very well received. Unfortunately, although it ended on a cliffhanger, there won't be a sequel to this one. The project sadly ended when the filmmakers went on to a new web series. Rest in peace, sandwich-munching, trumpet-wailing, fat, greasy Italian Spider-Man. You were an excellent gag made by people with way too much time on their hands. 3 Dev Adam, or 3 Giant Men. And now for the film that really helped to jumpstart this entire ripoff frenzy. 3 Dev Adam, or 3 Giant Men, was a 1973 Turkish film that threw together Captain America, Mexican wrestler and national hero Santo, and Spider-Man into a crazy stew that plays fast with a loose plot, characterization, and most if not all normal aspects of filmmaking. Spider-Man, who looks like a blind toddler slapped together his costume, is a Turkish criminal mastermind, whose enterprise is counterfeiting American money. So the only sensible thing to do, obviously, is to call in Captain America, who of course is a Turkish guy and seems to be lacking a shield, and Santo, the Mexican wrestler, to deal with the problem. Of course, Spider-Man in this film is just a regular guy. He doesn't have spider powers, he just fucking shoots people. But the police see that he has a weird costume, so fight fire with fire, I guess. The whole thing goes pretty straightforward, with fake Captain America and Santo raiding a gang hideout to try to kill the operation into submission. The only twist is that there are actually 4 Spider-Men, so they defeat and kill the villain 4 times. The end. This film is objectively silly as shit, but Turkish audiences loved it, and their film industry learned all the wrong lessons. 3 Dev Adam is likely the very beginning of the whole ripping off superheroes industry, the first to crank up a never-ending crap mill that we will continue to mock until the heat death of YouTube.